Hey, good evening, Seminole fans, and welcome to the Coach Jamie Carter era here at Osceola High School. Hey, we've been waiting in line to get Coach Carter here. He's been meeting with the national media. You know how that works. But we're glad to have Coach Carter here with us here tonight. Also, my co-partner down there, Bobby Eflin, here with the Seminole Nation. Want to welcome everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube. I know everybody, you saw our last video, Coach Hooks is taking a job at West Memphis. The Osceola High School, Osceola School District has hired Coach Jamie Carter. He comes to us from Marion. He was associate head coach there, defense coordinator. Yeah. And folks, just talking with him and getting to hear him talk, I can't tell you how excited we are to have Coach Carter here at Osceola High School. He's going to bring a wealth of knowledge. He's a student of the game. He's played college ball. He's played in the NFL. Coach, welcome to what we call the Seminole Nation.
Thank you.
And we're glad to have you. And we'll start off, if you'll just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your life and go into your family history. We'd love to hear it.
Well, I'm originally from Philadelphia, Mississippi. Grew up with two parents in the household that were educators. My father was a government teacher in high school. My mother was a English teacher in high school. And my father also, once upon a time, was a basketball coach in my high school. I also have an older brother that coaches at the Silver Central High School right now. My mother had sisters that was teachers. My dad had sisters that were teachers. So I grew up in an educational family. I played football for the legendary Chuck Friend in Philadelphia in the Silver Central High School. Played 4 sports: basketball, football, baseball, and ran track. Got a scholarship to play at the University of Alabama. Played for legendary Gene Stallings and finished playing for Mike DuBose. Got an opportunity to play for the Cowboys and an opportunity to play for the New York Giants. So got into college coaching, small NAIA, D3, college coaching for a while. Coached at Saginaw High School in Texas for 3 years and left there and came to Marion. And here we are today.
I tell you, Bobby, it's been a heck of a few weeks, getting the word that Coach Hooks is leaving after what he's done here at Osceola and going to West Memphis to a big 6A school, and then getting to hire Mr. Jamie Carter, who's our next head football coach here. He understands what it's going to be like to be at Osceola. He's a big-time coach who's already been coaching some big-time players, and it's going to be something that's just going to be built on here at Osceola.
And we'll forgive that Alabama stuff. We'll let that go. We'll leave that alone. But, we knew that, moving in with RJ, of course, I had personal knowledge of RJ and had known him for years and knew that we'd found that kind of that diamond in the rough. And now reading Coach Carter's bio, I'm seeing that Osceola's committed to putting a quality coach on the sideline and continuing that proud history. And Coach, you don't know this, but I'm from Luxor, which is just up the street.
Okay.
And in high school, Osceola and Luxor were we were rivals.
Okay.
He's my cousin. I love him like a brother, but I'd kill him on that game night. But the tradition that Osceola has always had and the commitment to excellence is once again proven in your hiring that they're serious about athletics in the school system and that they want to put quality product on the field.
Right.
And the biggest thing of all is make quality young men.
Yes.
And so just in that respect, we grew up in an era, and you're younger than I am, but I grew up in an era when a coach was a hard-nosed guy, and my coach Lee Troy Gaithan played college ball and played for the Kansas City Chiefs briefly, and I scared the death of him. You couldn't have melted me and poured me on him because I just but Coach Gaithan was the guy that had to be hard when he was hard, and he knew when to be your friend. He knew how to deal with you. What's your philosophy coming into this and meeting these young men? And I'll tell you, there's some quality young men in this program.
Right.
There are some kids here that are not just good on the field, but they do well in the classroom and they do well in their community. Most of these young kids have played baseball and sports for Michael and I out at Opar, and so we've watched them grow up. What's your philosophy on how you come into this environment and win these guys over right off the bat?
Well, for me, going to the University of Alabama, it gave me that structure of playing for Gene Stallings. When you go play for a guy like Gene Stallings at the time that, coached in the NFL for a long time, and he brought that structure, making sure you were responsible, that hard work mentality, in your life when you first got there. When I first got to Alabama, had a sign that was on top of the door, do not enter this door until you get better back in. So it was that type of mentality that put instilled in my life that I put in my life today. Also, when I got there, you didn't get no kind of ring unless you won a championship. All right, you went to a bowl, you got to watch. All right, so that was it. You won a championship, that was the standard. That was the standard, and kids knew that coming in there. So that's how I apply everything into my life going into this job. I've had this in my mind for a long time, how I want to run a program. I've edited stuff. I put stuff in, took stuff out, talked to a lot of people. You got to get to know the kids. Every kid don't learn the same. Every kid's not going to respond the same. But I'm going to love them. I'm not going to put no kid on the shelf. I'm not going to do that. It's a clean slate with every kid in my program right now. I know I talked to Coach Hooks about most of the kids that's here. Me and him had a good conversation about it. He said the same thing you said. It is some good kids in this program. These kids will work hard. They will show up. They will be on time. So that's what we're going to do. But we're just going to instill hard work, dedication, being responsible. Whatever you say, walk it. If you say you're going to do it, walk it. Show me. And that's what we're going to do. Football easy. X's and O's, we can talk X's and O's all the time. But making the kid do right every day, all the time, making them understand why, doing right in the building, being respectful, taking care of his teammates, taking care of everybody else around him. That's what they need to learn, because in 5 years, I asked the kid the other day, I said, what's your 5-year process? He told me, do you understand the process of getting to that point? Yes, sir. Enjoy the journey. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the journey. So that's what we are. That's what we are in the program. And we're going to be hard workers, the coaching staff included. We're going to make sure these kids look a certain way, walk a certain way, act a certain way, on and off the field.
Yes, sir. And Coach, I've heard you, one of your speeches, talk about what it was like to get that head coaching opportunity. You talked about how your father was a head coach, and you've been dreaming about this for a long time. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit and let the people know, just what it means? I mean, I know you said it a little bit, but what it actually means to you to get that head coaching job and what it means to you going forward.
It means the world, man. My wife told me the other night, she said, you thought it would never happen, did you? I said, it thought crossed my mind. I said, I've been in conversations in the last 7 years in interviews for head coaching jobs at some big schools in Texas, at some small schools, some big schools in Birmingham, big schools in Nashville. I interviewed for a big school here in the state of Arkansas. Doesn't matter about big school, little school. I just wanted an opportunity. I told Mr. Hogan, just like this. I talked to him on the phone. I said, look, I've been waiting on this opportunity for a long time. I said, if you take a chance on me, you would not be sorry. So that was my spiel, and I just came in. I ain't talk no football with him. Came in and told him just how I wanted to impact young men's lives. So and that's what we need to do as coaches. If you're an educator and you're not in this business to impact people's lives, you need to get out of this business.
I agree.
That's not who you are. We ain't gonna get rich doing this. All right. But all right, you can be rich in increasing somebody's life. Kid calling you 10, 15 years and not say, Coach, I just got married. Can you come to my wedding? Stuff like that. That's what burns me up, man. Right. So that's why I'm in it.
Coach, you talking about family. Tell us about your family.
Well, I've been married 17 years. My wife's name is Rashonda. I have 3 kids. My oldest is a son. He's 23 years old. His name is Nakeem. He lives in Mississippi. My oldest daughter is 17. She's married with my wife. My youngest daughter is 13, and she was married with my wife. My daughter's finna be a senior. She'll graduate next year, so I'm ready to get her out of the house. Out of my pockets.
That's what it is. Speaking from a dad that's got a daughter. But I got to tell you, mine's 19, working on 20, and she's in college. She's not getting out of your pocket. You forget it.
I agree.
Just forget it.
I agree totally.
Coach, talked about life and a lot of things. A lot of people with the Seminole Nation is going to want to know about philosophy. How you going to run your offense, maybe how you're going to run your
Right.
defense, what you're looking at maybe trying to run here at Osceola. I know a
Right.
lot of people will be asking about that. Can you just elaborate a little bit about what your vision is going to be as you go forward?
Right. I know they ran a spread in the past, and we're gonna run the spread. We got athletic kids, so we got to use those athletes in the right way. We got to be able to run the ball. We got to be able to be balanced. We got to be able to control the clock. On the defense side of the ball, we're going to be a 3-4 multiple one gap attacking defense with a 2 high safety shell. It's late in the game, so we got to put in some base stuff. We're going to put it in, and we're going to go from there. We're going to see what the kids can do, what they learn, and then we're going to go from there.
Talk to us about tempo, Coach. What are your thoughts on tempo? And we see across the board, even today in the NFL, you're starting to see tempo play a big part in what an offense does. How do you feel about tempo, and how will you use it?
I think it's a time you do it and a time you don't. Being a defensive guy, you got to think about on my end, being a defensive coordinator for the years. If I'm playing with a team that's a tempo team, I have to get my defense prepared for that during the off season because they might score fast. We might be on the field. We might go 3 and out. They might get the ball and drive or hold the ball for 30 seconds, score again. We back on the field. So that's some things that we got to work out in the off season for is conditioning. But on the offense side of the ball, I'm about clock management. Okay, we got to control the clock. The best offense is keeping their offense off the field. So we got to control the clock. We got to be able to tempo when we need to, and we got to be able to run the ball when we need to. We got to be able to take shots down the field when we need to. So that's how I feel about it. Being a defensive guy, I like it, and sometimes I don't like it. To be honest with you.
Defense wins championships. I
It
promise
does.
you that. I mean, you can score a lot of points, but you can't stop nobody. You just can play a shootout game.
Right.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your schedule. Coach Hooks kind of helped you out with that.
He helped you out.
He's going to start under the lights on a Saturday night
Yeah.
against Crossit. Crossett's a heck of a ball team.
Yes, they are.
Went to state, I believe, semifinals last year, if I'm right. They did change coaches, but I mean, still, they got a lot of kids returning. But hey, under the lights on a Saturday night in Osceola, Arkansas is going to be it's going to be epic. It's going to
Big
be great.
game. Big
It's gonna
game.
be big, and then you're going to turn around. You're going to get Belival, which is coming down from 5A to 4A this year.
Okay.
But still, though, they're one of our county rivals, and then Gosnell behind that for the first 3 games. It's going to be 3 top-notch
Right.
opponents. Well, you get your scrimmage game too against Nelton before that, but you're going to get to see a lot about your team right off the front end.
Right.
You're going to meet a Gosnell team that we watched last year that came from running the wing tee for ever and went into a spread attack with a newer coach, and we watched the progression of that team through the years. Gosnell possesses some quality athletes as well. What do you know about, and what has Coach Hooks passed on to you about these opponents, particularly the conference opponents that you're going to be looking for? Hoxie has built a stronger program under Coach Sears. How much did you get from him about what you'd be looking for?
We hadn't talked about that yet. Mainly me and Coach Hooks talked about, everything he's done to prepare himself for the season. We talked about the kids. Right now I'm working on trying to get 3 guys hired right now, mainly offensive coordinator that I'm trying to get hired right now. But we in dead week right now. We had a kid. We're going to start back with the kids on the 7th. We're going to meet as a staff on the 6th and put what we can of a rest of the off season together, and we'll probably start install that following Monday. Hopefully I will have an offensive coordinator by then, so we can start installing that following Monday. But that's where we are right now. I'm not in a rush to try to rush into anything. I just got on Huddle today. So over the weekend, I will look at some film and take some notes and make my own opinion about, what we need to be doing and what kids need to be where. Trying to get to know these kids, that's my first thing. I can't wait to get them seeing running around, moving around, throw the ball around just to see who can move, who can't move, who can do this. We just had, me and the guys over there just then was just talking about they got a lot of kids that played both ways last year, and I was like, I've never been a part of, a team that played both ways. And I was just trying to figure out that situation, especially a team that goes deep in the playoffs. How do you save legs? How you not get kids hurt? You know what I'm saying? So my first analogy was, It's 53 men on the NFL roster, and they don't play both ways. So I'm going with that tactic, and I'm gonna figure it out.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that was the next question I had is how much you looked at, because we did last year. We had a lot of kids that played both ways.
Right.
You know, a lot of kids playing on the back end of a defense don't see as much contact, but with the progression of offenses to the more spread attack and throwing the ball a lot more, those back half guys that you used to be able to count on
Right.
to be fresh now are not so fresh because they're covering routes. We saw that in the playoffs and in the finals, in the state final game with MJ Vance, who comes up hurt a little bit. A kid been taking a pounding all year. He's playing quarterback. He's playing nose tackle.
Right.
And he's effective at both. A linebacker. He's effective at all of them.
Really.
One of the big things in football now, and it's changed so much from when we played. But it used to be you lined up and you did what you did, and they tried to stop what you did. Now everything's moved to analytics. How big a role do you place in analytics in your program, and what you're going to try to take away from other teams, or how you're going to try to match up with what they do?
Well, yeah, that's what we got to do on the defense side of the ball. We got to match what they do. We're going to have, like I said, we're going to be a 3-4 defense, attack style, one gap deal. We got a team that want to come out and throw it around a lot. We're going to try to rush forward. Even if I have put in a nickel package, a base nickel package, rush forward, drop 7, that's what we're going to try to do. The secondary type stuff that we do is not very complex. It's based all on the technique. It's based all on the technique that we can get. I just asked a guy, one of the coaches over there, do we have a kid that can play man-to-man? And we can find a kid that can play man-to-man, it'll help us out a whole lot. Because when you're taking spread teams, you're talking about trips,
right,
doubles, stack, diamond sets, stuff like that, and how they unfold. High school ball, probably got one stud out there. You know what I'm saying? Right. So can you lock down the one stud? Can you combo coverage in the back end and play man on this side or play zone on this side? So that's what stuff that we got to look at. And I just told them, we got to be smart about that. All right, we got to evaluate kids like that. Like I really just told them, I said, we got to be scouts. All right, we got to evaluate kids. If this was a perfect world, I put long kids at outside backer, short, fat kids at inside backer, long kids at defensive end, short, stocky kids at nose guard that can move. All right, but it's not like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be smart, put kids in the right position to do certain things, put your best athletes on the defense side of the ball, and some of those kids might have to play offense too. Okay, so that's fine with me. That's fine with me. So if I can try to save the bigger guys down the road, down the line, game 9, game 10 with their legs and their body, because that's what we're going to get through. We're going to win the game up front between the offensive line and the defensive line regardless.
I agree.
That's what we're going to win. We're going to win the ball game in the trenches. And if we can run the football, we're sure enough going to have an advantage. So, because you can control the clock, But that's where I am with that, and we just got to figure it out, Got to sit down and talk through it, figure it out, be smart about it, test it out. If it don't work, scrap it. Go to something else.
That's good to hear. You're not married to one thing. You're going to do what works. And that's, I think a lot of times coaches do, they get married to one deal. And when that doesn't work, they're kind of lost. If you can, if you can scrap it and move on, I think that's a good trait.
Yeah. We're going to be adjustable. Now we're going to be able to adjust to anything that you do. We'll be able to adjust to anything that you do. And, if you do something funky, come out something funky, we come to the sideline, we adjust to it on the sideline. If you cannot adjust in football, you will not win. You would get beat. All right, you'll win so many games, but you won't win the big ones. Okay, you won't win down the road. You won't win in the playoffs. You have to be able to adjust. I tell my coaches, don't watch the game. Do your job. Watch your position. Relay what you saw. I'm gonna ask my kids, what did you see? You have to tell me what you see, because every eye ain't gonna see the same. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we're gonna be with that.
Coach, we talk about our kids, we talk about our school. One big thing here in Osceola is the community. This community is rich on Seminole football, yes. Seminole football, Seminole basketball. That's what they're all about when it comes to sports. So we need to make sure that this community gets behind you, and they will. I'm telling you, once everything rolls through, we have we call them the Seminole Nation. That's what we call it, what we do. We have a great Seminole Nation that will get behind you. And as we get to going further, Bobby, we'll make sure that people know what Coach Carter's wanting done. He's got a lot of ideas when it comes to feeding, when it comes to doing different things for the kids, whether it be fruit or something else, to keep them going. So we'll make sure that as we go along here, we'll get out all the information we can to the community about the things that Coach Carter's wanting to do, and we're going to get behind him, and they will. They'll love you. They'll love you like they're their own, Coach Carter. I know you're not from Osceola, you're from Mississippi, but when you get done here, especially when you should start and everything gets to rolling, and hopefully some of this COVID stuff starts to go away, and we get back to some kind of normality. You will see that you'll be their own.
Right.
You will be a son to them.
Let's ask one silly question. I got one silly question. Do you like to eat?
Oh man, look at me.
So
come on, man.
What about tradition? This is just something that kind of lighthearted. My daughter played competitive softball, travel ball for years, and she played for a team. She had a coach that if you took the third strike, not swinging, you had to carry a rubber chicken around your back pocket. And when I first saw it, I thought, well, that's going to be kind of embarrassing to a kid. But over the course of that season, those girls carried that chicken everywhere. I mean, that chicken was like a mascot. Is there anything that you do in your program or anything you've come across in your years in football that you think is beneficial in that state? Is there a tradition you'll start with these kids or something you've got ideas about?
Yeah, we do. I'm going to give them motivational things that they can have by what they do in the building. I'm not worried about what they do on the field. Okay, I'm worried about what they do in the building. Okay. All right. So that's going to trickle to the field. We're going to have accolades on the field that you do, and especially going to be really diverse to special teams. That's another thing we just got to talk about. We want to put a big emphasis on special teams in our program. You can win a lot of football games on special teams. So yeah, we will. I just got to figure out what we're going to do and what we can do with that. But kids, perfect attendance, kids that make straight A's during the first couple weeks of school, kids that don't get any kind of violations, don't get any kind of tardy, stuff like that. We're going to reward that kind of stuff. I don't want to see everybody see me rewarding a kid just what he does on the football field. Kids going to play football because they love it. It's fun. It's fun to them. And they want to do it just because they've been doing it all their life. Never got a reward in high school playing for football besides the accolades that they gave me through the newspaper or at the end of the season or anything like that. That's just that old Gene Thaler mentality in me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're going to be grinders. We're going to work. We're going to be tough. And it's tough kids here because they play both ways, and I see that. So that's how we're going to be. My thing is I want to let them basically understand it's a big world out there and you can get your piece of the pie if you just work for it. So
I agree 1,000%, Coach. Yeah. Just as we get ready to end up here, superstitious. Are you superstitious?
No
superstition.
That's a good thing because
I'm superstitious.
Oh, it's terrible.
No,
look, if we sitting here right now and a black cat walks across there, he get up and leave.
I gotta go.
He'll go.
I gotta go.
Tell him.
Hey, look, I got to where I was superstitious last year. We get the playoffs.
Yeah.
I talked to Coach Hooks before the game. We do just a little pregame.
Right.
I say, "You gonna take the ball on the coin flip, or you gonna go to the second half?" He said, "I'm gonna try to go to the second half." I said, "Please, we do good in the second half." And he goes, "Well, yeah, but in certain situations, I might want to take the ball." I said, well, "You're right. So I was superstitious. How about hobbies, Coach? What do you like to do? I know you don't have a lot of free time. I know that. Coaches don't have a lot of free time. But if you do, you get a chance to go out with family or something. What are your hobbies?"
I cook, man. I'm the cook in my house. My wife's spoiled. She ain't cooked in 17 years.
There you go.
I told the kids I got a big pool behind grill. I like to get in the backyard and cook and barbecue and try all different types of stuff and fish. I like to fish. Yep. So that's all. That's what I like to do, man.
He's good, Michael. We're hired. He's hired. He got a grill. We're in good shape.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We like to eat.
Yes, sir.
We go to the road games, Coach. We always find a place to eat when we go to the road game. That's part of our whole thing.
Yes, sir.
Keep covering Seminole football. Coach, is there anything else you'd like to tell the Seminole Nation here? I want to thank you personally for taking your time out of your schedule.
I appreciate you.
To get on here with us. And we're going to follow you around as much as you're going to allow us to follow you around this year. And
that's fine.
We're going to cover your football games every Friday night. We'll be Saturday night on the first one.
Right.
And we're going to show the world the Jamie Carter era, and we're excited. I mean, I'm so excited to have you here. I know Bobby is. We've been talking about it, and so is the community. A lot of people, they don't until they get an interview like this, or they hadn't talked to you. They just read about you. So they say, well, I heard he was here, and I said, well, we're supposed to have this interview, and we'll be able to tell you exactly what he's done. So we want to thank you for being here today, Bobby. You got anything else?
It just does my heart good to see an old defensive lineman be a head coach.
That's
you see these head coaches and they're defensive backs or quarterbacks, or they never got their head busted in the trenches. It's just good to see an old lineman getting those shots.
And he's been very fortunate. Like I said, he got to play 4 years at the University of Alabama. Like I said, we won't hold that against him. We're from Arkansas. But and Gene Stallings, the legendary coach that he was, that's a blessing in itself. And you said you played at South Panola, which is I coached.
Coach Friend was a coach.
Gotcha.
At my high school.
Tell you what, South Panola has been a powerhouse for a number of years. So, Coach, we just appreciate you being here with us today.
I appreciate y'all,
we look forward to the year as we go along.
I do too.
And so, folks, we are Coach Jamie Carter, head football coach, Osceola Seminoles. The era has begun. It's time to get behind Coach Carter now, and let's bring another championship back to Osceola in the year 2020, 2021. So, Coach Carter, thank you so much for being here. For Bobby Eflin, for the Seminole Nation, we'll see you on our next video. Thank you so much.